Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Holt.
Hi, I'm Shannon Ross.
Hi, I'm Madeline Marinelli.
My name is Mackenzie Cook.
I'm Michelle Tartakovsky.
And today we'll be discussing what is disability studies. So to begin, one quote we felt best encompassed what is disability studies is, one of the key tasks of disability studies is to contest or ask questions about taken for granted definitions of disability, and instead offer more relational, subjective, and nuanced understandings. So we selected this quote because we felt that at a glance provides a good summary of what is disability studies and why it's important. So to begin, what is disability studies? So disability studies is accessibility, intersectionality, and inclusion. So one example of accessibility that we discussed in class was the idea of a crib space, which is essentially a space designed with people with disabilities at the forefront and not as an afterthought, which we see so often in the rest of the world. So crib spaces provide a space for those with disabilities to find others like them and have accessibility features that are specific to various disabilities and encompass a wide range of disabilities. Intersectionality, though, deals more so with looking at a person as their entire identity and looking at the various aspects of their identity to make up themselves as an entire person. And it's important when discussing disability studies because disabilities are not the only aspect of a person's identity. And in reality, people are very diverse and have many different identities. So these two things together work to make spaces more inclusive for those with disabilities.
The word special is condescending in the disabled community because they are not inherently special just because they have a disability. Those with disabilities are the same as everyone else. Although it plays a big part in their life, it does not define who they are. Stella Young talked about this in her TED Talk. She was nominated for an award for her achievements, yet she stated she wasn't doing anything achievable. She was just like every other teenage girl. Living your life is not an achievement. Objectification of those with disabilities is a huge issue. You should not be using those with disabilities to make yourself feel better, hence the term inspiration porn.
Something that's important to know is language. There's 3 different types of language: person first, identity first, and person centered. Person first is putting who you are first before the identity. An example is saying, I am a person with autism. Identity first is putting the identity before the person. An example, I am an autistic person. Person centered is letting the person choose the language they wish to be used about them. Language is always expanding every day, and we're always learning something new. Some people with disabilities have reclaimed certain items that were once offensive to reclaim power. Some do's: ask the person if they use person first or identity first language and which terms they are comfortable with. And don'ts: don't assume what type of language a person uses. Don't use outdated language. Individual experiences. There's many ways to define a disability. There are some disabilities that you can see, and there are some that you cannot see. Something that may not look like a disability to one person can actually look like a disability to another person. And those with disabilities may define themselves differently. From this, the unique experiences and opinions of disabled individuals work to inform others about the field of disability studies. It is important to note that no 2 people with a disability will think alike, and therefore cannot be lumped together on the basis of disability alone. A personal experience that I had is over the summer, I shadowed an occupational therapist and I got to see how different kids who all have autism. Just because they all have the same disability doesn't mean they are all the same. They are all working on different skills and all develop at a different rate.
Disability studies is important to have inclusivity for all. All people are deserving to feel welcome and included. Out of the population, 15% of people have disabilities. Considering the Americans with Disabilities Act wasn't passed until 1990, disability awareness is recent. Being knowledgeable of disability studies allows for approaches to other areas such as personal experiences in the world and future careers.
Maysoon Zaid is a 49-year-old woman who has cerebral palsy resulting from a casualty during her birth. Her TED Talk spoke about her experience within this world, starting from how yoga was a huge part of her therapy and the ability to walk, and how she was ostracized from a play about CP while she herself has CP. She shines a light on how disability is as clear as race, and they are not represented well enough within this world.